Yeah, lick all the hairs off your body. Why don't you lick the hairs off the BMW? You got hairs all over. Look at this. I just washed and waxed this. And you don't even live here. Go away. Hey. Hey, you don't live here either, but why don't you make yourself useful and get rid of the cat? Here. Here he is, right here. Sick the cat. Get him. Gotta wipe these cat paw prints all over my nice shiny BMW. There we go. We're at my garage. Let's see what we're driving in this episode. It's the all-new 2017 BMW 5 Series, in this case the BMW 530i. It took me 3 years of begging to get the BMW factory to send me a 5 Series, but it finally got here. All the way from their headquarters in South Carolina, just for little old me and my YouTube audience like you. I like the styling of this 5 Series, especially with this metallic paint. I think it's bronze metallic or something similar. News alert, BMW just sent me this paperwork. It's not bronze metallic or silver metallic, it is cashmere silver metallic. So now we know. In spite of being a 140-pound slider, it's a bit longer and wider. It has an attractive appearance from the rear as well, I think. I do like the appearance of these wheels, but cleaning 22 spokes on 4 tires for a total of 88 is kind of time consuming, but oh well. As always in my videos, one of the first things we do is take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, it's dark enough. Let's see how these headlights perform. Here we have the headlights on a wall 100 feet away, a very bright light, but way low. Turn on the brights. Definitely a lot better. And here we have the brights on a building 300 feet away. Plenty of light, no problem here. Go to low beam. Doesn't quite reach, but more than adequate for city driving. I've also noticed on the low beam setting, even though we don't have a lot of length, we certainly have a lot of width. A very wide track. Certainly a good feature to have. Well, these headlights do a very good job of lighting up this construction zone. That's for sure. For part 2 of our headlight test, we're going to take this car out on some backcountry roads. See how the lighting does there. Getting here was a 30-mile trip at 65.4 miles per hour. As you can see, our fuel economy was 36.8 mpg. We certainly can't complain about that. On these back twisty roads, the low beam lights don't reach out very far, but as you can see, the wide pattern certainly helps when going around corners, especially when you have a lot of wildlife roaming around. But as always, turning on the brights works way better. By the way, this is one of the roughest roads in the county. This ripple pavement really kills your suspension and tires. And on many lesser cars, I've had to turn around and go back. But this 5 Series is really sucking up the bumps. I'm very impressed, especially considering we have stiff run flat tires, but we'll talk about that later in the video. And we're here to test the headlights, not the suspension at the moment. And I am impressed with the headlights. We have a lot of big mountain lions out here. We definitely don't want to hit one, so powerful lights like these make it less likely to do so. Okay, I think that's enough headlight testing for the night. It's late. There's a full moon. I got bats flying over my head. A couple of rattlesnakes in the bushes over there. I think it's time to go back into town, and we'll continue this testing tomorrow morning. This car has an unusual feature you can see when you look at the BMW when it's parked. And that is there are no air vents in the grille. Totally solid. Now you can change that by simply turning the car on. I'll have to get rid of that chime, driving me nuts. And once the engine starts running, the vents open up. Now the fact that the vents open up when the car is running is good, because that's what is keeping the engine cool, of course. But I don't see the point of having everything closed when the car is parked. I suppose if you park the car in a barn, it might keep the rats from crawling in and chewing up your wiring and hoses, but other than that, I don't see the point here. I'm sure there's some BMW fanboy out there that'll have an answer for this. I think this is a simple case of German over-engineering myself. The base engine is the same 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo that's used in the lighter 3 Series, putting out 248 horsepower. EPA rating is 24 mpg in the city, 34 on the highway, and 27 in mixed city commuting. Optional is the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder, putting out 335 horsepower, with an EPA rating of 20 in the city, 29 on the highway, and 23 in mixed commuting. There's no manual transmission offered, and that's fine, because with a high torque turbo engine you don't need it. This 8-speed automatic is far superior. If you do like to shift for yourself though, well, you do get paddle shifters on the steering wheel where they belong, not on the steering column like some Europeans where they don't belong. These are very easy to manipulate regardless of the steering wheel position, which comes in handy when you're taking tight corners, which we will be doing later on in this video. This is the worst mileage we got in heavy city driving, averaging 31 miles per hour, 21.8 mpg. That's very heavy traffic with an outside temperature averaging around 110 to 112 degrees. Not bad considering. With the smaller and lighter BMW 3 Series, I used this engine and got 0 to 60 in around 5.8 seconds. Since this 5 Series is about 400 pounds heavier, I'd expect performance to suffer, but it really doesn't. I'm getting 0 to 60 in around 6.1 seconds. Not much difference. There's more than enough acceleration and passing power on this engine combination, and if you put it in sport mode, even a bit more. No complaints at all. Once you hit 1500 RPM, you got maximum torque. And these brakes stop just fine, perfect, as you'd expect on a BMW. I'm told this power steering is electric, and it feels as such. I haven't gotten used to it yet. We're going to have to do a bit more driving before I give my opinion on this. We're going to do a lot of open road driving coming up in the video, but since we're here at my amateur test track, I thought I'd do the standard speed bump test that we do with all the other cars. So let's give it a shot. We're doing around 25 miles per hour. Heard the bump, didn't feel too much. Reasonably mild. Now here comes the big nasty one. Not bad, and the body structure is very solid too. These are run flat tires, which as a rule I don't like because as a rule they provide a very stiff, nasty ride. On this particular car, it seems a bit more milder than normal, and I found the ride to be a bit more comfortable than normal, especially on those speed bumps. So we'll be talking about these tires a bit later in the test. Since I parked the car, this will be a good time to examine the cabin. It's 110 degrees outside today, so that's why I'm glad I got this nice light cream colored interior instead of a black interior, so I'm not roasting alive, and it looks good too. The interior has been upgraded to resemble the more expensive BMW 7 Series. Looks very nice. We get a medium-sized glove box, a decent-sized center console. The climate system is separate from anything else. Simple knobs and buttons. Very easy to learn. Took me around 10 seconds to figure it out. Unusual for a high-tech German car. When you switch from comfort to sport mode, the gauges change. Like so. I think this looks better. And by the shifter, we have the choice of comfort, sport, or eco modes. I'm told there's a fourth program option, but I haven't tried it, nor am I going to. The sport mode works fine for me, thank you. Most of the other features are controlled by this iDrive knob and button system. As a rule, I don't like these, but BMW's done a good job of simplifying everything. I've been able to use this for several days and didn't have to look at the owner's manual once. So that's certainly a positive feature. To get started, you press the menu button. Then here are your choices. More choices. We get a very wide camera screen, which also comes with a 360-degree view. Comes in handy when parking. One of the biggest complaints I've had with European cars in general, and BMWs in particular, are the extra wide rocker panels under the door, especially when they have a dirt shelf that gets mud and sand and whatever else all over your pants. I'm happy to say this is not a problem on this new BMW 5 Series. The rocker panels are pretty narrow, so your leg isn't rubbing on the bodywork. And there's no external dirt shelf to collect mud, sand, and dirt. So, no complaints from me. They got it right on this car. You know, going through the cabin left and right, front and rear, the only real complaint I had was what I think is cheap-looking fake plastic wood. But the last time I said that about another car, I got a lot of hate mail telling me, no, it's real wood. Well, it might be real wood, but I don't think it is. It certainly doesn't look it. But it's a minor thing, not a deal breaker. I just wish all wood would just go away. Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this BMW a 9.8 easily. It's a very well thought out interior. They did a very good job. Before we get on the road and do some serious driving, it's time to have a chat about these run flat tires that come with BMWs. The advantage of them is, should they go flat, you still have the ability to drive 30 to 50 miles on them. If you live in the city where there are a lot of repair stations available, that's not going to be a problem. But if you're on a road like this, where the nearest town is 100 miles away, the nearest BMW facility is 200 miles away, that could be a problem. That's because if you look in the trunk, there's no spare tire or jack. BMWs don't come with that. In my case, that's why I carry a box with several air pumps and multiple cans of tire sealer, like so. If you own a BMW with run-flat tires, I seriously suggest you get a spare tire and jack in the trunk. The inexpensive way to do this is go to the junkyard, buy a full-size tire off a wrecked vehicle, toss in a jack. You should be able to do that for about 150 or 200 bucks. The other way is to go to the dealer and order a compact spare and jack setup. They're not cheap though, but it's better than walking. By the way, one of the disadvantages of these run flats is when they start to wear out, they're very expensive to replace. You buy a good set of conventional performance tires for around $1,000 a set of 4, maybe $1,200. Run flats, last time I checked, around $2,000 a set of 4. Conventional tires usually ride a bit smoother than run flats because the run flats have stiff sidewalls. In this particular case, though, the ride isn't an issue. Now, whether that's because the BMW engineers did a great job on the suspension, or the tire company found a way to make run flats smoother, I don't know, but this car does ride smooth. So stiff ride is not really a complaint on this particular car and tire combination, as we'll find out as we're racking up the miles. So now that we're done with the show and tell and the tire lectures, we're going to rack on 300 miles today and see how this drives. So let's get started. If you watch my videos, you've seen this before, but I gotta stop and say hello to my pal. Where is he? Tommy the Toad. It's the water they drink out here. They get rather big. Yeah. Time to move on. The high-speed stability of the 5 Series is excellent, even with these nasty crosswinds we've got. The car is extremely stable at high speed. And the steering feels a lot better. There's a bit of rumbling from the run-flat tires, but nothing serious. In addition to high-speed cruising, this 5 Series loves high-speed corners. This 4-cylinder engine has more than adequate power. I'm very impressed. Of course, we'd all rather have the more powerful 6-cylinder, but this will certainly do. BMW recommends 32 pounds of air in the front tires and 38 pounds in the rear tires. And so equipped, the way this is, the ride and handling are more than adequate. If you're in the habit of taking corners at high speeds, I suggest putting another 5 pounds of air in the tires just to stiffen up the handling a bit. These brakes are excellent. I've been driving downhill for the past 15 miles. Not a hint of fade. I think we could do this all day. We just dropped from 6,000 feet elevation to 3,000 feet elevation. 180 miles of driving today thus far. And this car just doesn't want to stop. That's why they call it the driving machine, right? Made to be driven. We're getting close to the end of our drive, so we're going to take a 5-minute break and let the tires and brakes cool off. Not that they need it, but I could use a 5-minute break, so we will anyway. This BMW definitely has more endurance than the driver behind the wheel, believe me. By the way, this metallic bronze paint is simply fantastic. It looks good, stays clean, and does a great job of reflecting heat, which is very important on a day where it's 112 degrees outside. But I'm still cool on the inside. Having this light colored interior helps too. Even though it's leather, it stays cool in this heat. I'm glad they didn't send me a car with a black interior, because that shade attracts heat like a magnet. And I would be roasting alive right now. That's why I would never own a car with a black interior, but hey, that's me, maybe not you. This is a very nice camera system, and the 360-degree feature keeps me from backing into trees. Well, I knew we had big frogs, but I guess the ducks are drinking the water too. We got a big giant duck with a red cone on his head. If I remember my engine specifications, this 4-cylinder 2-liter puts out maximum torque at a low 1450 RPM, which explains why it's so effortless when taking these back roads regardless of the elevation. I'm very impressed with this motor. It's doing a lot better than I thought it would. Especially considering we're pulling 2 tons worth of weight here. A bit more than the lighter 3 Series. One of the rules of driving a quick BMW is you got to keep your eyes on the road, so don't be looking down there like that. Not very safe. Keep your eyes on the road. We're taking another long drop in elevation. And once again, no matter how long we do it, the brakes never seem to get hot, which is what we expect on a BMW. If you're looking for a good highway cruiser for long trips, this 5 Series is definitely worth a look. The engine is smooth, the wind noise is quiet, the ride is comfortable, we're getting excellent fuel economy, the driving position is great, got a great sound system. Definitely good for long trips. We've got 60 miles of driving left to do, so I'm going to reset the mileage computer and see what type of fuel economy we get in this outrageous heat. So let's give it a go. Okay, 50-mile trip at 69.7 miles per hour. Hey, let's round it off to 70. 36 mpg. Not bad considering how hot it is outside, and I had the air conditioning running full blast. Pretty good mileage, I would say. Since we put 300 miles on this BMW today, I did get a chance to evaluate the power steering, which I'm told is electric. On the negative side, it has no feedback or feel, but on the positive side, it's quick and responsive, so it will do. No complaints, but it could be a bit better. Our entire driving test went 667 miles. It'll probably round it off to 700 by the time I get this washed and gassed. This nice metallic paint doesn't get dirty much, but might as well wash it. I think I should turn the sensors off before I put this in, before the whole system melts. The whole radar system is going crazy here. We're coming to the end of our test, so here's my take on the 5 Series in general and the 530i in particular. Based on my 1-week drive, I think this is the best 5 Series they've ever made. It's got beautiful, flawless styling. A cabin that's just as nice as the upgraded 7 Series. In spite of these stiff run-flat tires, we still managed to find a comfortable ride. If BMW could just make this electric power steering feel like hydraulic power steering, we'd be even better. Maybe next year. Unless you need the extra room or a super high-performance big engine, I really think you're better off buying the 5 Series over the 7 Series, in my book anyway. With the money you save, you could trick this out with nice options and have a far better car. That brings us to the base starting price. Now, BMW did not send me a price sheet with this vehicle. It came off the assembly line too soon. But we can give you a general idea. The base price is certainly reasonable, starting at $52,000, but finding one on the dealer's lot at that low price is going to be a chore, because there are a lot of options and very expensive too. Just a few examples. This metallic paint, around $700. Add the leather interior, the M Sport brakes. Then we have this nice Harman Kardon stereo system that adds around $4,000 to the price, I'm told. Now, there are other features we do not have: the high output 6-cylinder engine, the all-wheel drive, the M Sport package, which is around $4,000. If you keep on going, you can be up into $80,000 real quick. But hey, you're having fun, right? Common competitors for this BMW 5 Series is the Mercedes-Benz E-Series and the Volvo S90. And they can run up to $80,000 in a hurry too. So if you're looking for a vehicle in this price class, definitely check out this 5 Series. It's a very nice vehicle.